meeting my targets, meaning I have been collecting money and also taking some discount taxpayers to court. So because of, we have privacy and all that, we have the data privacy act and the privacy of the company, I don't think I will get caught. I will mention it. Thank you. So I have never been adversely mentioned in any committee of inquiry or anyone on issues of integrity. I also never applied for any position of political party or independently. Yes.
Another question is, are you holding any position in a political party, like a Secretary General or Chairman or that?
No, no.
Or have you had?
No, I never had. No, never.
Fine. So you go to the other question of your net worth and source of income.
My net worth is about 27 million, and I've been working in KRA. I've been earning a salary from officer, a salary of about 120, and then from 2018 a salary of about from 170,000 to 200,000 now. So with that income, I was able to take loans and purchase land. So I have some parcels of land in Kitengela. I have also parcels of land in Maryland. I also have my rural home in London. I have a small business in Maryland, retail business. I'm a pastoralist, so I have camels, cows and goats. But not many. I also have shares in Ushu Sako, Kiage Sako. I have about 800. I also have insurance for my kids. I'm married with 2 kids, 2 girls. So I have food insurance for them. I think I have about also 800 or 700 or something out of them.
Yeah, thank you very much. Honorable members, those who are ready to engage, you welcome. Honorable Master.
Mr. Andrenas Salon, you're welcome. I have 2 questions for you. The first one is, during the 11th National and Core Governance Coordinating Summit, which was held in December 2024, the President directed the completion of transformed devolved functions, which he directed should be transferred together with the funds. Transfer the remaining functions with funds. What measures will you put in place to ensure implementation of this directive? Number 2, MDS, that is ministries, departments and agencies at both levels of government, continue to incur financial cost and ineffective service delivery that arise from disputes which are litigated in courts of law. What actions do you intend to take to introduce other alternative mechanisms of dispute resolution? Secondly, what measures would you put in place to empower the RGRTC, that's the Intergovernmental Relations Technical Committee, to resolve disputes between the 2 levels of government? Thank you.
I think you can take those.
Yes, thank you, Chair and Honorable Member. On the transfer of functions and the presidential directive, yes, I agree with the Honorable Member that resources should follow functions. So first, I think we need to gazette the functions to be transferred, and I know that the technical committee had already gazetted them. There are issues that they cannot be complete transfer at once, as we agreed, because one of them is the resources. number two is we need to know the policies currently, that are useful with those RDS. If some are inhibiting the transfer, then they need to be reviewed. And number two, I think also some of them have overlapping roles between the county and national, because in these transfers, I believe that it is to align them as per the constitution. It should be either be in the national or the county. So we also need to find out if there is any overlapping functions between the national and county government. So as appears for devolution, once given this responsibility, I will ensure that the technical committee, because that's one of their work, will map out these overlapping functions so that it can be addressed, and maybe we can have agreements on how it can be transferred. So it will be transferred with the resources in place. It can be systems, the funds, the human resource. So it may not be just instant, but it is gradual, and it will be done. I believe the transfer will be complete. I can go to the next question, Honorable. On the litigations, that the MPs, the municipalities and the agencies of the government have, I believe that there's no urgency for a government agency to take another one to court. We can maximize on our intergovernmental units, relations units, to solve those cases, but as an alternative dispute resolution. Unless the one from private sector or individuals, then we need to put into law on how we can handle them. On how we can assist the government relations technical committee. Firstly, we have the governmental relations the Government Relations Act is currently under review, but the act has been there, now it's being reviewed, but there are no regulations. So I believe that, I've worked in KRN, and my 8 years in KRN, I've been having an act and a regulation. The Constitution, the act, and a regulation. For example, the East African Customs Management Act. East African Community Customs Management Act, it has a regulation. So every act should have a regulation to operationalize what is in the act, the specifics. So I believe that if the IDRTC can be, the act can have a regulation, then the technical committee can have, ample space to carry their duties. Also, there is guidelines, the coordination of policies for national and county devolution policies. I think we need units in departments for coordinating devolution issues. For example, when does the governor and the county commissioner meet to discuss on devolution policy, coordination of the Senate? Should we have someone maybe for IDRTC, instituted in those departments so that they can convene, they can bring them together at some point when dealing with such. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Tukule. Okay.
Thank you, Chair. Bwana Michael, welcome again to the vetting committee. As I've said, my name is Kazungu. I'm representing Ganze people in Parliament. I have only two issues, or two questions for you. The first question, I would wish to know your take on the government directive to dissolve RPAs. How does it have with devolution? I think I need to pick your mind on that. Secondly, I think it's a bit personal, but maybe it's just of interest to me. I want to know your motivation behind you applying for this kind of job. What really motivated you to go for this job? Because from your CV, I've seen that you have a pretty stable and well-paid job at 𝐶𝐄𝐓, and I believe that is permanent and pensionable. At least now you have guaranteed income until the time you get to our age, around 60. Now you are going for a job that, according to me, it's 𝐻𝐻. You get the job today, tomorrow the president gives an executive order, and your name is missing. You become jobless. So, what exactly motivated you to apply for this job?
Thank you, Honorable Member through the chair. Thank you for the two questions. The take on government to dissolve RBS. I hope the Honorable Member meant that the RBS are being aligned. I don't think the RBS are being dissolved as such. They will just be there but in another form. Because the functions, as per the Constitution, we have two levels of government, county, national and county, that are distinct but interdependent. And also on the realignment of the RBS, the fourth schedule of the Constitution, the functions of national government and the county government are related. So these RBS should be in either level. So I think the government is just doing for what is constitutional. Thank you. On the other issue, as you have seen from my CV, what has motivated me is I've challenged several policies, maybe even interrogated them to assist people who can't understand them. So that's one way that has motivated me to apply for this. For example, the community land. I can be a consultant now for Community Land Act because I've read it, because I was trying to find something in it, to solve a problem in it. And the people from northern Kenya understand, our land is not titled. So that's one of the motivations. Because at this level of the PS, I can directly interact with the policies and even make changes, and guide. Number two, Community Forest Act, Management Act. I interrogated that because my community have a public forest, and from lessons you learn from how they can be removed one day. So, because they can't actually understand it, or I'm the one who is given the responsibility, I'm learning, So, having this platform to interact with policies, I can find a way of even, for example, public participation, strengthening public participation to reach those people. Because Kenya can just go on and it's not reaching to some people. So we need to strengthen our public participation, and that's why I want to be such an effort to, especially devolution by policy interest. Also, in my letters there, I've written to register of persons, to put an office for registration of persons in my ward. Because when you see the voter, voting is public participation, we are making our decisions, democracy. And the number of people there does not tally, because people cannot access this service, and we don't have public transport even to travel to other areas where the service is. So I asked them to put for us an office so that we can register and participate in democracy. And so I think that motivated me to actually know how these policies should reach those people. Number two is my leadership, to inspire and lead, because in the spaces I have been, somehow I have been a leader. For example, Sambo University Students Association. Also now I am a secretary of Sambo Professional Association, and the Honorable 𝐍𝐻𝐿 is one of is our person. I am the secretary. And also I told you about the case against Governor Authority. I've been a leader, and so I've been influencing. So I've been inspiring and influencing, and I would like to bring the same to public service, so that I can foster a space where there is innovation, and accountability for the public service. And the last one maybe is service delivery. Yes, service delivery can be, I think I said in the first place, but we need to map the needs of the people to the budgets, to our budgets. So that's also one of my motivating factors. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Honorable Kukule, what is your opinion on the cabinet decision to dissolve or divestiture 16 state corporations, among them regional development authorities? Already the cabinet has taken a decision. Certain stakeholders are not in agreement with the cabinet decision. Here you are now, the PS in charge of devolution, IGRTC, the Governmental Relations Technical Committee, have been given a task with other people, committee players, to undertake some engagement with the stakeholders with a view of actualizing the cabinet decision. So probably, what is your opinion on that cabinet decision?
Chair and members, my personal opinion. Am I allowed to give a personal opinion? Yes. Chair? Okay, my opinion is, if we follow the law, functions, resources follow function. If there are resources, if an area is aligned with either level of government, so national government, for example, to whatever state department, I believe that there will be, the function is transferred to there, and there should be resources. Ours is to ensure that there are resources. So if there are resources to carry out that function, then I will support the transfer.
Anyway, you will have with IGRTC, you will get that the information. But basically, the work of IGRTC is to unbundle functions. So that now they say the functions that are taken by RDS, these ones are supposed to be undertaken by county governments. This one should remain in the national government. So the thinking of many stakeholders would be those that remain within the national government should continue to be undertaken by RDS, and those that are for the county government should be left to go to the county government, because still RDS can still undertake programs on behalf of the national government. So that is maybe I will not maybe require you to.
Chair, if I may comment, is it the name RDA that should remain, or the form that the RDA should exist? So it can exist in the State Department, but it's not called a Regional Development Authority or agency. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We can think in those directions so long as they continue to remain to perform the activities and tie the lives of communities the way they have been doing. They can be under another name. But remember, each of them is in existence by their own acts of fact, right? So Honorable Chome, no, before Honorable Chome, let's give Honorable Wumi a chance, maybe just to engage, because she has another committee going on.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, for giving me this chance. Mr. Michael, first of all, congratulations for being nominated for this position. My question to you is, the government developed a national youth policy that guides strategies to be used in facilitating participation of youth in national development. At the county level, the majority of the counties lack youth policies and youth development programs. How do you intend to work with counties to ensure prioritization of youth development policy in each of the laws units, given that 70% of the populace are youth under the age of 35, and I believe you still in that bracket of youth. It's still useful. In light of the, my second question to you is, in light of the fiscal space in the country and the financial challenges faced by the county government, what measures would you put in place to ensure partnerships and linkages with the relevant stakeholders who can collaborate with developed entities to provide alternative funding mechanisms? My third question to you is, what do you intend to handle the matter of pending bills? How do you intend to handle the State Department? How do you intend to handle issues of pending bills in the State Department of Regulation? And in your submission, you are saying your net worth, you indicated that you own a liquor store worth 4 million shillings. You come from a rural area. You know very well that your youths are marginalized. I'm sure you started that way younger. What motivated you to open a liquor store when your youths are unemployed, uneducated, marginalized? Couldn't you find other avenues to empower them or open businesses that could help them rather than opting for that? Thank you.
Yeah, I'll take those ones.
I thank you, Honorable, for that. I did not get the question one. If you may clarify for me, please.
My question is on, you know very well, it will be linked to the personal question that I've asked you. Majority of the counties lack youth policies and youth development programs. How do you intend to change that?
Thank you, Chair and Honorable Members. Thank you for the question. On the youth policies and youth development youth programs, in the State Department of Devolution, because we deal with the policy issues, formulation, that relate to devolution. So one of the things I will do is to ensure that policies, when formulating policies, there is public participation especially from the youth, so that we can capture their needs. Secondly, we ensure that with the consultation with the State Department for Youth Affairs, to ensure that there are resources that are allocated to youth programs, and you have resources. And also, I can influence if there is a way that the law allows for performance-based accountability for youth funds, because the youth are so many and there's little fund. So if this fund gets lost in between, again, because of other issues like corruption or not good service delivery, it's not fair. So if there is that little, we let that little reach it, being absorbed 100%. So that's my view on the youth policing and programs. On the next thing, alternative funding. On alternative funding. On alternative funding, first of all, we need to have to attract, to attract donors, and one of them is by being accountable. For example, in other involved in other governments. In other governments where devolution works, resources are given based on your capacity. So if a government is not managing resources well, even collecting its own resources and managing it well, maybe even having public finance management systems that are strong, so that we can see that, or anyone else can see that you can manage funds well, I think we can first strengthen our government capacities to manage their funds, strengthen our accountability in our public service, so that we can attract donations. So that's one way, and the next is collaborations, reaching out to stakeholders. There is the Kenya Devolution Support Program. I have read the website for devolution. Maybe trying to work around that, whether we can get more of the same. That's my humble submission on that.
Are you done?
No. My last question is the
Personal one.
When you talk of partnership,
Yeah.
both national and county governments, if there's a counter funding, it's always that the counter money that comes from national government or county government is never honored. That's why projects never kick off. That is maybe that's the path that they wanted to come out, not really donor funding, but counter funding on partnership and
So you can understand.
and also the personal
Yes.
question that I asked you. And maybe
On counter funding, from my level of understanding, it's like a community contribution. Because my level where I was working, the community contribution. And you see, government has money, but it should be budgeted. So how do we foresee maybe fund a donation and try to budget possible, that community contribution or national government contribution? So you can start from budgeting or expecting, foreseeing, possible. On the personal business, life is hard out there. So, first of all, there are regulations for liquor. Yes, I don't sell bad liquor. I work with KRA, I have networks, people who import legit liquor. So I don't have to go and do those other illicits. So I also sell maybe they are expensive, so that even the youth cannot be, you have to come and buy because they are legit. So I have a license, and also it's being inspected all the time. So I don't think it may be not a very good business idea, but that's what I like. So, and I took a loan to do it. So yeah.
Thank you, Engineer Chome.
Thank you, Chair, and Mr. Michael Salon. Welcome once again. behind you. My name is 𝐒𝐓𝐀𝐄𝐏. I represent Voi constituency, and I'm very keen on the contribution of regional development authorities to my people. My people are served by Coast Development Authority, and for that I really welcome you to this and I wish you well. And I will have some questions that will follow up. First of all, on this personal question, I don't expect an answer, but you gave a legal answer to a moral question. So I think the question was morally, not legally. But then that's okay. And I would like to say one thing. With what is going on currently, the current thinking in regional development authority, how do you intend to navigate the administrative challenges? Because there are policy challenges, they could be technical, but this is just purely administrative. That will arise from the dissolution of RDS, including redundancy, potential financial losses arising from the dissolution, including donor-funded projects, coordination of inter-county projects that were previously managed by regional development authorities, and potential disputes over assets transfer between the counties. So it's just purely from the administrative point of it. And secondly, have you considered a potential benefit or link between regional developed economic blocks that have been purely developed by the counties? Like at the coast, we have 𝐒𝐓𝐀𝐄𝐏, their counties are one. And whatever gap that may arise from what is going on, do you see any potential of linking them up and using those as a link? Because they were created by the counties. Potentially, the counties probably have more confidence in them than RDS. Do you see that as a potential? So that now you can have a link that is regionally, but getting into something that is already existing. And probably the counties having more confidence in them than in the national authorities. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. Thank you, Chair. An honorable member from Voi. Yes. I would like to address the issue of administrative challenges. Firstly, on the issue of redundancy, I think we agreed on the transfer of functions, resources for functions, and one of the resources is human resource. So I believe that if there's any transfer, there's no redundancy. I hope because resources for functions, and one of the resources is human resource. On financial losses, you see, we can, that one my opinion, I agree that we should take time where there is financial loss. We should not hurry and align. We should find a way to be gradual so that we don't suffer any losses. Because suffering losses, financial losses at this juncture where within the revenue is it's not good. On assets, currently there is a new state department on public investments and assets management. So asset mapping, I think it's a very robust department. They can assist us to map the assets to wherever level that should be. And on the disputes, we can, for example, I totally agree on the issue of regional development blocks because it's like inter-county collaborations. So if there is any resource that's not that is maybe shared with the counties or that's not clear, then we can, the regional, I believe that the economic blocks are good avenue or platforms to get those collaborations so that they can manage it together. Thank you, Ms. Moore, unless there's something I did not get clarity.
Yes, Honorable Engineer Chome.
Yes, thank you. I think you responded well, but one thing it didn't come out very clear to me is that the regional economic blocks exist. What potential are you going to use out the fact that they exist? And here you have this other function. And secondly, I probably don't agree with you fully. I don't want to say it fully. That for human capital, you won't have redundancies because part of the reason of aligning these functions is to achieve efficiency. And if you have an accountant in the county and then 2 accountants come from the RBS, 1 or 2 of them have to go. You cannot come and have it because there's already a mechanism that is being worked. And I'm not saying that's why I give an answer, but probably just have a rethink on that one. And this country has not done well because people don't know how to take very hard decisions. I want to encourage you. When we got independence, I know PS was at 29. He succeeded and went on to become. So at your age, you have the potential to succeed. That's where the country is going. And the only thing I encourage you, you're being vetted. I wish you well. When you get it, take hard decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now I want to give an opportunity to our Vice Chair, the Honorable Abuar.
Thank you, Chair. Let me begin by congratulating Mr. Sanol for being nominated for this position, for the PSD position. I have only 3 questions for you. The first one is, how do you assess the success and challenges and opportunities in evolution in Kenya and on the global scale? The second one, what are your top priorities if approved by this committee as a PS for devolution? Your top priorities are PS. And the last question, what steps will you take to ensure marginalized regions fully benefit from devolution? Considering that you also come from the marginalized region. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Yes, responsibles.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Board. To assess the success and opportunities in Kenya and on the global scale, I believe that we have succeeded to some extent because what could look good for devolution is having a constitution and legal frameworks. So I think that we have that in because devolution is enshrined in our constitution. And secondly, also what would look well for devolution, for the work units, is some autonomy. And we have seen we have county assemblies, we have county governments, and they have several governments. They make their legislation and they also execute their mandates. We have the CCs, the government. So I think we have succeeded to some extent. And also on the transfer of functions, we have transferred some functions. There is not 100%. So that's what devolution would look like. Yeah, those are good for devolution. And maybe challenges is we can say that weak coordination of devolution. Because I've seen that we are still reviewing the acts, IDR Act, I said that we don't have the regulations, so we need to strengthen the coordination of our levels of government. And another one is maybe public participation. That public participation is in my heart, because especially in issues of, because I come from marginalized areas, so you see the needs of the people should be budgeted. You know, for example, equalization fund. Maybe the people on the ground have said that they need, some other development. But when it goes to the executive, they put where they can do some other things. And so we don't have that strong public participation and citizen engagement. I think those are some of the weaknesses that I can think of. And on say the opportunities, we can and on opportunities. I think we are a digital country. And technology, Kenya is called a technology hub. So if we can automate our systems, for example, if counties can automate even their own revenue collection, and also if the national government can allow counties to manage their own revenue, I think those are some of the opportunities that we have. The next question is on priorities on PS devolution. As I have said, that public participation and citizen engagement is close to my heart. So that's one of my priorities, to make sure that how we engage. Even devolution itself, maybe it's not understood. We need to develop public participation, manage guides on devolution issues, and also intergovernmental coordination. And we have to strengthen our technical committee, and I'm happy that the act is being reviewed so that we can give them more powers, for example, on the issues of functions and even dispute resolution. Another priority is the capacity of institutions, our county governments, and even our human resources. Even from the department that I will be given this job, I will make sure that my staff are, because I can only be as competent as my staff, my teams. So building their capacity is a priority to me, and also capacity of our county governments to even manage their resources to conduct this public participation, and also issues of monitoring and evaluation, so that we can get the value for money.
On the marginalized regions.
On the marginalized regions, when I brought the issue of equalization fund as an example, public participation is there. If you are being allocated the equalization fund or some other fund, additional fund, you are given because you are in need, not because you are rich and now you can use it the way you want. So can we put the performance-based accountability on this fund? Can we put performance-based accountability on the fund so that it can be absorbed 100% and according to the needs of the targeted citizens?
So Chair, on the last question, according to the nominee, just given the challenges that are there in devolution, I just want him to confirm to this committee whether he considers lack of adequate funding to the devolution is also the challenge. because most of the governors, every financial year they keep complaining that they're not being funded adequately. Do you think that's one of the challenges facing devolution?
I agree. Money is never enough, so it is one of the challenges. But again, what good devolution will look like is you are taking care of the little you have. Even the Bible says that the little, the more you are given, the more responsibility. The little, even it can get lost. So how are you ready? How is your capacity? How is your public service competent, accountable? How are you managing your monitoring evaluation? You know. So I think you do more for you to get more. Yeah, for you to deserve more. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Engineer, there's something you wanted to raise? Okay, fine.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that do you consider the distribution of our equalization fund itself at the moment to be a problem? Because I come from a marginalized county, and we tend to think those who are even better than us with higher potential, they still want to squeeze themselves and say, oh, we are also spaces that need equalization fund. Is this one thing that you are prepared? It's very tough, very challenging, but are you prepared to address it in terms of even actually amending the law so that those who are actually targeted for support for equalization fund get the better part of it?
Yes, I think I'm ready, and I would say that even in the arrival of the criteria for allocation of funds, there must be a way that this criteria has been developed. So what actually happens, what is being used to, what parameters are being used to allocate these funds. So I think if we do our groundwork properly, we can inform the policies.
Yeah, I think you have answered those questions. Mine would be general questions now as we come to a close of this engagement. I want to put to you that when you are applying for this position of principal secretary in this government, were you looking for a job, or there is something that was motivating you to get into this space so that you could either influence policy or influence the way things are done for the better? Because it's possible that if you're looking for a job, you will get it, but you may not actually help to change the government in terms of maybe legislation, policy, or even propose things that can improve. So that is one. Two, the State Department for Devolution is under the office of the Deputy President. And now the Deputy President in this case now would be like acting like the CS for this State Department. What do you think, or how do you think you will relate with the Deputy President to achieve or to address some of the challenges facing devolution, which we all know? Because I was even going to ask in your opinion, just like there was a vision to have devolution, but now there's general complaint that now devolution is not working because what was intended to be achieved by devolution is not being achieved. There's even allegations that corruption has also been involved, and therefore we get a lot of resources going to counties, and when we go to those places, there's very little that can be seen for them. Huge resources that have been devolved to counties. So what is your take on that? And then I think you have heard of one government approach, that you will be the principal secretary if approved by this committee and approved by the National Assembly plenary, you become the principal secretary for devolution. So you work for government. Whereas you will be the principal secretary for devolution, there is something called one government approach. And in one government approach, you are also supposed to assist government in other spaces, and particularly where you come from. Now, I'm aware from what you have presented that I come from Samburu, and I want to introduce myself that I come from West Pokot. And West Pokot, we border Tiati along the Kerio River. Tiati borders Samburu, to a place called Malasa. Now, we have this challenge of insecurity that has always been there. So, and it's affecting our people, both Samburu, Pokot, Turkana, in the North Rift. Now, using the position, if given, what we could do to ensure that we address this challenge in the spirit of one government approach. There are those who will be entrusted, of course, but being government and coming from there, what we do?
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, Chairman, for those very wise questions and tough. The one on motivation, I can overemphasize that I'm not here for salary. You are part of my history. It is something in me. I have something in me that's driving me because maybe of my upbringing or where I come from, I have seen a lot of problems. So I have that art to solve problems that are affecting the common manage. Also, my leadership experience along as I grow up, I think I can influence spaces. So that's why I'm as young as I am, not very young, I'm old, 35 or something. I'm in this space because I believe that I can influence, spaces or even at this level of government to direct a positive impact in our society. On the relation, my relation to working, relation with also the deputy president, I think one of my goals, because I have to, if I give them the job, I have to have some quick wins. One of them is to have devolution coordination framework. Devolution coordination framework. Because I believe in this space of devolution, one of the main things is communication. Because the governors, you have the Council of Governors or the governmental relations units may throw stones at the wrong person. But if we have a framework where everyone's responsibility is clearly outlined and they have the manuals, then everyone's role will be clear, even so that we can also the consultation. We can have consultative forums between the devolved units, the Senate, and our IGR units, the government relations units, so that and even have a joint committee on devolution, so that everyone knows the role we play, because nobody is alone in devolution. We are all in one space, and we have a collective responsibility to make it succeed. On the issue of Tiati and Samburu, I come from Samburu North. We have the same issue because we also got Turkana County, and the issues have been there since 1900, 100 years. Even the one for Tiati, it has been there since 1900. I have read reports from Kenya archives that there were patrols, even of NPRs or police reserves being deployed by government along that river called Amaya River in 1900s to curb the ethnic conflict. So you can imagine, and up to now we are still fighting. So out of curiosity, I've read those things because I want to speak on an informed point of view. So and it is only the living who can solve our problems. So I think that in my experience in governance, for example, in USAID, I was a director of board of directors in one of the in Sahel Development Trust, and I was trained that in governance, as I am a public servant, appearance is regulated. It's not like a CS can talk on political issues and public servant. But on that phase of governance, because I'm still on that level of governance, where I was taught in leadership that you can wear several hats. You have a governance hat, you can wear a volunteer hat, or a participant hat. So, the Honorable Chair, your county is affected, mine is affected. We can wear the volunteer hats, so one day both of us we can talk and see how we can go and talk to our people, at least to curb the insecurity.
Yeah, thank you very much. Honorable Nabulindo, you came in, you have not introduced yourself. I want to give you a chance to introduce yourself, and if you have any question, you can put the nominee. Welcome, Honorable Nabulindo.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Oscar Nabulindo, LP for Matungu constituency, and I'm a member of this committee. First, thank you, Chairman, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Michael Venasalone, thank you very much. First, I congratulate you for being nominated, and also thank you for coming before this committee. We hope we shall come out with the positive results. First, I'll make a follow-up about what the chairman asked about corruption having been devolved to the counties. Actually, this is almost like a national disaster where everybody agrees that there is massive corruption going on in the counties. That's something that's almost in the public domain. And very many Kenyans feel that a lot of wastage of resources at the county level. Other than corruption having devolved and massive corruption at the county level, we also have a lack of accountability, especially when it comes to own source collection at the county levels. Almost all these 47 counties, they do their own source revenue collection, but there is very little accountability about that. So, if given a chance to be in that position, what are you going to do about these devices where corruption has been devolved to the counties, and accountability about own resource revenue? Then lastly, Chairman, in most counties, we are now 15 years down the line. The first governors who are elected, they engaged in mass overemployment. Almost all the counties, there's overemployment of people to work there due to political pressure. That putting a lot of pressure on the wage bill. How are you going to control this wanton employment of people due to political pressure when a new governor comes in? Thank you very much. Chairman, start.
Thank you, Chair and Honorable Member. On the issue of curbing corruption, in the devolution, State Department of Devolution, what I will recommend, or I will put in my, my work plans is because corruption involves around resources, both human, how they employed, and also financial, how they are, budgeted, and also how the service is delivered. So, first of all, I will strengthen county public service boards. We'll find a way of strengthening county public service boards so that they can be independent. I'm sure that the linking county public service board from from the executive. Because you see, these institutions are strong and they operate in a political environment. So it's only when they're independent that they can act, independently without any influence. For example, on the issue of employment, it means that the County Public Service Board, they are not doing their job as per the law, and they are getting pressure from politics. Because now, who employs in the county government? It is the County Public Service Board, but again now here there is politics. Why are they not professional and observing the public service, policies? Another one is on the county assembly. Also, the independence of county assembly. I think one of my ideas that what I'm going to inject there is independence of county assemblies. Because also, if a county assembly is not independent, they represent the people. So, are they getting influence from elsewhere? Is the county assembly speaker independent? It is funny how county assembly speakers are recruited. Because immediately after the election, there is a person who calls the shots. Yes. So the speaker will likely be compromised in making decisions. And you see, the members of the county assembly are the ones that are representing the people. They are the ones who are passing budgets. So, Honorable Member, I think that's my humble submission on that question. On revenue, on source revenue, I think because digitization solves a lot of problems, we can automate on source revenue collection. Because if it is being collected in cash or using receipts, there are a lot of loopholes. So it's only through automation that we can improve on our own source revenue collection. So in my 90-day office, my 90-day time in office, I plan to have an improvement plan on own source revenue collection for maybe a pilot of counties that will be selected. Secondly, another question is on employment due to political pressure. And I think I've handled that, Honorable Member, on my question on public service board. That's the single authorized entity in the county government to employ. So if they are affected by politics, influenced by politics, then it means we have a problem on how they are constituted or instituted, how they are selected. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Honorable Member, you have something?
Yeah, Chairman, thank you, Mr. Michael, for your response. But let me take you back to my first question about which steps actually, practical steps are you going to take to make sure that we curb the massive pilfering of resources at the county level, which as I said, it's almost in the public domain that a lot of state resources actually are wasted for corruption at the county level. In your response, it did come out clearly, like, how are you going to make sure that we don't take money from the national government to the county level, then only 30 or even more percentage is utilized. The rest is actually either stolen or wasted. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Through the Chair, I can add what I'm going to do in office. I think one way of cutting corruption and ensuring that the monies are also absorbed on the ground is public participation. So I will develop a public participation toolkit for managing can be, can be institutionalized by our county assemblies, so that our people understand, their voice can be amplified, so that they can demand what they requested maybe in needs assessment, in the needs assessment period in the budget making cycle. So I think public participation will strengthen the citizen voice, because they are the same people who elect the political class. So if their voice is strengthened, they can put them on on account on service delivery. Another one is strengthening the county government capacity, the human resource. I will ensure that we have a continuous learning on the accountability principles of public service, the national values and principles of governance for the county staff, so that they can actually do their work professionally and avoid violating the Constitution, say Chapter 6 of the Constitution and so forth. So I think with continuous learning and partnerships with the Kenya School of Government and even universities, if allowed, we can improve strengthen the capacity of our public service in the county government. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think we almost come to the end. I just want to maybe put this to you that recently we had a county assembly forum in Nairobi. If you are following events, it was heated, and they really wanted some issues to be addressed. At one point, they even didn't want to hear or listen to a cabinet secretary, a minister of bank, but instead they wanted the president himself. Now, some of the things they were agitating in the county assembly forum were agitating for are autonomy, which you also talked about, independence in terms of even their finances, because when resources go to county governments, part of it is given to county assemblies. So they wanted it clear that they are independent in terms of their own resources. So they were agitating for that. Salary increment, that's what the MCs were talking about. They also wanted the word fund to be applied in the Constitution or in law, so that it is not just something about the governor, whether he decides to do what fund or not. So I would not expect that you give an answer to this, but my question is, do you think the county assembly forum or the MCS have a point? So it is yes or no. So I don't really want a lot of explanation, because this one involves many people for us to be able to achieve this. It's not actually you as the PS, but do you think
yes, they have
a point?
Yes, and also the act, their act, one of the amendments is to incorporate the secretariat for county assemblies forum. So I think we will have a better platform to address the issues. That amendment for Alexander, of course, this committee were aware of that, but I was just in reference to what they were agitating for, and that is here to go to the floor. We will look at it. It came from the Senate. We will look at that. So you think they have a point? Yes, absolutely.
So thank you very much. Now, honorable members, is there any member who still has an issue? If not, then we almost come to the end. Honorable Chairman, maybe very briefly.
Yes. Thank you, Chair, and Mr. Michael Nenas. I'd like to repeat your name so many times so that hopefully when you give the PS, I don't pronounce it very wrongly. Mine is more of wishing you well and a welcome. And to tell you that we have vetted quite a number of places here. The moment they get appointed, it becomes very difficult to meet them. Mainly, do not be one of those. We don't want to just be meeting you once and twice in a year, at the time when you want us to appropriate, and the time when you are doing supplementary. We want to engage, we want to be partners, we are in the executive, we are the legislature, we work together for the benefit of the people of Kenya. That is my humble request to you, because I still insist at your age, we expect you to deliver differently from those of yesteryears. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, thank you very much. Honorable members, I think we have come to the end of this engagement, but before we close, we want to give Mr. Michael Len-Asalon an opportunity to make closing remarks.
Thank you, Chair, for giving me this opportunity. My closing remark really would be on where I come from. Up to this place, I come from fun. Because I'm married with 2 kids, very tech-savvy, very, Gen Alpha, born in Nairobi, but I have come from, I was born on top of a mountain, where I was not born in a hospital. I went to school, I lost my mom when I was like 3 years, 2.5 years. So I had to, by the grace of God, navigating through that life, being an orphan, without a mother, is difficult. And it gave me, it made me to make decisions like an adult, even when I'm young, so that I can collectively, be grounded and still be aggressive to take myself up in, through life. And with that resilience, Honorable Chair, I think this committee will consider to give me the job, to this prestigious position. Because it has not been easy, and I don't forget where I've come from. I've come from a humble background, and I actually identify empathetically with the issues of the common person. So thank you, Chairman, or members, for your insightful questions, and I will take them seriously and address those issues that you have raised. So thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you very much. And you just make your closing remarks. I got interested and maybe just want to make a comment that you stay in Nairobi, you come from Samburu. Do you have any relationship with Samburu, or you just left Samburu and now you're in Nairobi? Because you see, government, even when these appointments are done, you come from Samburu. So you represent the people of Samburu in the executive and Kenyans for that matter. So if you just in Nairobi here, probably your effectiveness and impact in terms of government may not be felt back at home.
If you can see what I've done for the community, at that time I was caring for person. And I used to travel like day and night to Samburu to deliver on my personal initiatives. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. That was just a concern, and it's okay. Now, one of our members has just come in. We just want him to introduce himself before we close.
Good morning. My name is Robert Basil, the other member of Parliament, and a member of this committee. Sorry, they are a bit late.
So, thank you very much, honorable members, and our secretariat, and Mr. Michael Len-Asalon. Based on our engagement with you, we are retreating to write a report that we will table in the floor of the National Assembly on your suitability for this position of Principal Secretary, State Department for Devolution. So, having said that, therefore, members, this meeting stands adjourned.